Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a horror movie review and I'll be having a look at the movie Feast. So Feast came out in 2007 and it's a very over-the-top monster movie. It's got a fairly simple plot that basically follows the patrons of a sort of out-the-way bar pub in somewhere in America, and simply that it's attacked by a group of monsters from an unknown origin. You get sort of introduced to a variety of characters sort of in the beginning of the film in quite an amusing way, where it's got their kind of their likelihood of survival and things like that. And suddenly we get someone bursting into the bar with holding a monster head, sort of just warning them that they're going to be attacked imminently. And sure enough, soon after, carnage follows. And it basically all the story really is these people trying to survive this this sort of onslaught of monsters and trying to sort of think about ways to outthink them and basically survive their lives. And that is really the plot, but you're kind of not really watching this film for probably an in-depth plot. You're watching it for gore, you're watching it for special effects and monsters and things like that, and inventive ways of people either killing or being killed. And in that way it delivers. Like I said, this is a very, very over-the-top film. The monsters are kind of very grotesque, sort of alien-looking creatures. We never actually get any idea where they've come from, and they kind of they're very sort of slimy and end up sort of ripping people and eating people. Not to mention puking on them and trying to actually have sex with some of them. So it's pretty out there. It's very, very sort of far-fetched and kind of in a sort of particularly sort of gruesome way. And a lot of the deaths are very messy and disgusting. One guy sort of gets puked on and basically ends up sort of melting and rotting and all maggots on, and then gets his head sort of crushed by one of the monsters. So you get the idea. So one of the more inventive things in this film is that it's frantic pace, and it kind of pulls a couple of red herrings on you about who the actual sort of the main hero is, the main protagonist, and it does a kind of switcheroo a couple of times within the film. So that was quite fun, and also maybe some of the people who you think may make it don't end up making it, and things like that. So in that respect, you know, it is quite good and kind of goes against traditions. It's got quite a few sort of genre faces that you'll recognise in it, including Jason Mewes and Henry Rollins. However, I mean, if I had to sort of pick some holes in it, some of the problem maybe that I actually watched it with a few people, 3 other people, and they all thought it was crap. Now, I actually didn't mind it, to be honest with you, but their main problems with it were, and it's fair point, is that they couldn't really see what was going on. The cameras are very, very quick cuts. They're very, very close up. A lot of it is in the night, so a lot of it's quite dark, and quite simply, you can't really see what's going on. For example, myself, I didn't actually see what happened to Henry Rollins' character. He would just sort of seem to disappear. And then the monsters had him, but I didn't see how they got him in the first place, for example. So, I mean, I don't know if that was the intended style. I get the impression it probably was, but to try and sort of follow what's actually happening, it is actually sort of quite you know, confusing. The acting is I actually would say generally okay. There may be a couple of sort of maybe not quite as good believable performances. I actually the character who ends up sort of being the main sort of hero, if you like, I actually thought they had a really quite a believable and quite a good performance, I have to say. But something, you know, it's not a particularly film where you're going to be worried too much about realistic acting, I don't think. But so the main issue is it is a very, very simple story. It is probably a little bit over the top and a little bit sort of too out there for some people. But the main criticism really is that the way the film is constructed, it does actually make it quite hard to follow what's going on. And, you know, it's so dark, and sometimes you get the cameras at a tilted angle, and you just don't know what's going on a lot of the time. The film was actually followed by 2 sequels as well, and I've got to say, I think this one was by far the best out of the 3. So I'm going to give this one a 6.5 out of 10. I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was quite a fun film despite its faults. And if you like sort of your monsters and your gory sort of special effects and things like that, then I think you get a buzz out of it. So check it out. See you later.